The next wave of business leaders won't just use AI, they'll master momentum with it, starting now. Welcome to the Mastering AI Momentum Show, where visionary founders and driven business leaders turn artificial intelligence, automation, and scalable systems into real growth, real scale, and real freedom. If you're ready to break bottlenecks, reclaim your title, and scale smarter, this is your playbook. Let's dive in. Here are your hosts, Allie Porter and Elise Smith.
Welcome back to the Mastering AI Momentum Show. I'm Elise Smith, your AI business strategist with Millionaire Momentum AI Agency, where we help visionary founders scale with predictability through AI-driven systems that align people, data, and growth. And today's guest brings an incredible story of evolution, innovation, and emotional courage, from facing panic attacks and personal reinvention to building a global company that serves giants like PayPal and SAP. Noman Siddiq has built more than just a business. He's built a model for how AI and human intelligence can coexist to drive 10x growth. Totally speaking my language, Noman. So welcome to the show. We're so excited to have you.
Thank you, Elise, for having me on the show. It's wonderful being here, and it's wonderful connecting with you again.
Definitely, absolutely, for sure. So the big question we're going to be exploring here today is how can founders fuse human empathy and AI precision to scale smarter without losing that human touch? So you've had such a unique journey, Noman, from leaving school early to building multiple companies before age 30. What drove you on the path when you started out so young?
To be honest, this there's a moment of realization. So I think when I was growing up, I always had this vision of me being something or someone in my life. Um, so at the age of 14, I had this vision of becoming an entrepreneur, and I did not have the visualization of having a big car that I have now, thank God, or having multiple businesses in multiple countries. But I wanted to be good enough that I can have a sustainable amount to cover my family expenses. So that's the vision that I had initially. And I was not never a good student. I absolutely failed at numbers. Mathematics and accounting was never my forte. So when I was doing my O levels, which is from Cambridge University, I realized that this is something that I'm not going to make it through. And then I went through the A levels, the same process, and I was like, okay, it's not working out, so I need to do something for my own self. And I had this love of the human connection. I wanted to socialize and meet and integrate with different communities. So I started working. I think job is one of those things that's going to expose me to thousands of people in the same workplace. And fortunately, that happened with me. So at the age of 17, my first customer was Jim Burgess from Clinical Advisors. Back then was the name of the company. And my job was to help Jim find qualified appointments with doctors from the US. They used to send out paid invites for a paid consortium for all the doctors or medical professionals to attend those conferences in different parts of the world. And back then we were using jigsaw.com, which then was named as data.com, and then eventually the company was closed. So I used to spend approximately somewhere close to, I would say, at least 70 minutes a day in cleaning the data that I used to acquire from different sources. And that's when, within 3 months of my joining, I went to Jim and I called him up and I said, Jim, listen, I'm spending 3 to 4 hours on cleaning the data. And my target is to get you at least 5 appointments per day. I'm not hitting the target. And my commission is at stake right now. So I proposed him that we have the database, we have the tools, and LinkedIn was fairly new back then in 2005, 4 or 5. So I said we can utilize LinkedIn to validate the information. That's how I built my first team of 2 or 3 researchers, where we used different tools and databases like LinkedIn to validate the information. And that sort of helped me save a decent amount of time, and my productivity in terms of setting up appointments for gym multiplied by literally 10x. I was, instead of giving 5 appointments, I was actually giving him 20 to 25 appointments per day.
Wow. Big jump.
And yeah, that was a big jump for me. And my commission directly multiplied from $100 to $700 a month. And for me, that was very overwhelming because I was 17. I did not know what I was doing. I was doing it for the love of money and people around me. So that's how it started. And then fast forward, I worked for companies like AT&T. There was an outsourced campaign going on in Pakistan when from where I started my career. I was managing AT&T's sales department, and then there was a huge database company that got acquired by another huge, one of the leading database companies in the US right now. I would say in the world. And my job was for them to validate the contact information. So I built a team of 300 plus people for them here in Pakistan, where we used to validate the information by phone. They had a database of more than 200 million contacts, and my team's job was to validate the information that the mobile phone numbers are correct, all the information provided by them that they have in their database is 100% accurate. So that's
Mm,
how it started at a personal level for other companies. So when I was 23, I realized things are not working out for me. I was also going to university, and again, now that I read a lot of books, I don't know why back then reading a book was a challenge for me. So I said, no, I'm gonna just move out, step aside, and figure out if I want to start a business or continue my education. And within 48 hours, I think I got my answer, and I went to my university, my teachers, and I told them that I don't want to pursue a degree program with you guys. I love you guys, but I want to move on with business. I want to try something new. So that's when I started my first company that did not work out in the first year. And then when I was 24, I started another company that worked out. And eventually in 2016, I sold that company to a bigger brand here in Pakistan. And then I started traveling the world to understand how the data is working out for salespeople and what are the pain points that these guys are going through. So that's when I started CloudLead.com. And CloudLead's main mission is to combine technology backed by human researchers to deliver 100% accurate information that eventually helps the salespeople to focus more on sales versus chasing disconnected numbers or validating bad information, which in most cases happens. Like, for example, um, recently we got 3 leads signed up on our website from Meta ads, and my sales team missed out on calling the lead right away. And 3 days down the lane, when they called out the lead, the person had moved on to another company.
mhm.
And within 3 days, the information was outdated. We lost a potential opportunity. So that's the importance of data, which is where we use the human resource that we have here in Pakistan and India to validate the information in real time to make sure that our customers do not face the same problem.
Mhm. I love that. And I love how it was born from your experience with bad data. And I mean, if you've ever tried to pull leads, anyone can attest that bad data is just part of the gig. And so I love the fact that you guys are changing the narrative of that and going above and beyond. I mean, just some of the things that you have talked about of like actually calling out to these businesses to make
Mhm.
sure that it is the correct business. It really just shows how much you care about the quality of leads that you're giving to your clients. So that is amazing. If you guys want to learn more, go to cloudlead.co so that you can. But I want to shift gears for a second. You've been through some deep personal transformation.
Yeah.
You and I were talking about it and kind of almost bonding over some of the anxiety that we faced. But you've also done traveling and all of that. How has that really helped to shape you into the leader that you've become now?
So, when I first started my company and I was managing a team of 15 plus people, I was 24 and I was more like an angry young man. People used to be scared of me.
Wow.
And I kid you not, in 2014, my father literally held my hand and said, son, I have to see if your mood is good today, if you're in a good mood today.
Oh.
Otherwise, I feel like, we can have a chat another day. We're scared of your mood swings.
Mm.
And that's when I realized that if my father can think, who has the access to my life, like he could just walk up to me, slap me, or do anything, I wouldn't say no to that. When a person of that stature could say that to me, then I was wondering, began to wonder what would my team be wondering when I go to work. So I
Wow.
started connecting with people at a personal level from work, and I realized how scared they were of my presence around them. So the kind of energy that I was exhibiting at work was directly reflecting my workflows, my productivity, my financial forecast. So mm, that one line from my father pushed me towards this transformational journey. And that's when I started reading a lot of books on self-help to understand why is this happening to me. And post 2014, I think when I bought my first house in 2015, and I ended up overspending on buying the house, renovating the house, and spending, importing furnitures, and fixtures from all over the world. Draining my bank account left me with generalized anxiety disorder and a panic disorder. So there was a point when I used to have 4 to 5 panic attacks in one day.
Terrible.
And how it started was terrible because the first time it happened, I still remember that I lost memory of who I am. I did not recall where I was in terms of my office space. I did not recall who I was surrounded by. I had no idea how I ended up in the hospital. And that's when I started to sort of do some research around how our mind works and what's the role of our emotional state in our overall well-being. So, and that's when I started traveling the world. I wanted to learn from different people from different parts of the world, different cultures, different religious backgrounds, to understand how people think and behave. And at the end of the day, we are all, to be honest, the same. There's no difference. It's just that there's a cultural difference between us, which does not sort of differentiate us in any way. The more we learn about different cultures, the better we become at who we are.
I agree.
So that's how it started.
That's amazing. So, actually, before we started this recording, you were telling me of a way that kind of helps you work through that anxiety. Can you share that a little bit on this
Yeah.
call today?
So the more I got into this transformation journey, I reached out for professional help. I took medication. I signed up for yoga classes. I started my gym therapies. It's been 10 plus years that I've never missed my workout any day or my yoga session. I now meditate for 3 hours a day, literally. So that's 1 hour in the morning, 1 hour in the afternoon, and 1 hour before sleeping to cleanse my mind. And then I'm now in a habit of journaling everything. So basically, when I wake up in the morning, I obviously, as a human, I wake up with a lot of thoughts. So I write down those thoughts that pop up the moment when I wake up. So let's say if I have a reflection that came to me from the past week, and the thought process that stuck in my mind, I have to name it, label the thought, and label the emotion that it's coming up from. Is it fear? Is it anger? Is it love? So I label it down to understand where is it coming from and how can I sort of address that concern. And then I compartmentalize it in my brain that today is not the day. If it's a work related thing, then it has to be between the office hours, and I actually make an appointment with myself that I'm going to talk about this to myself at this time. So that's one of those are the things that have sort of helped me combat anxiety, be medication free completely,
Amazing.
and focus on myself.
Mm,
I
I love.
cannot. I mean, there was a time when I actually offloaded myself from the plane because the fear of flying, not the fear of flying, the fear of, I don't know what it was. After having flown for more than 200 hours, literally, I still had that fear, and I offloaded myself from the plane in 2019.
Beautiful. I love that.
And and then these are the kind of things that sort of helped me understand who I am and how can I change my mindset. It was all about mindset, and my heart and mind was not in coherence. I had to actually retune everything.
Mm. And I love that you're vulnerable enough to admit that. I mean, we all go through difficult trials and
Mhm,
challenges, especially in business. This is kind of a little bit of a different show than we normally do, of talking kind of your scaling story and all of that. And we'll get
mhm,
to that. And then, of course, AI. But but I think it's so important to remember that us as CEOs, as founders, as leaders and visionaries, we're human.
human at
And
the end of the day.
yeah, and we do have things that we go through. And so I love that you journal all of that. And I was just telling Noman before we hopped on to this recording, that I go through a process that I call daily daddy daughter time. So I'm Christian. I believe God is
Mhm,
my heavenly Father, and I go through and basically give my worries and my doubts and my fears and my frustrations, I lay them at Jesus's feet in a really amazing way.
yeah.
And so when we're talking about the amazing resources that you have as far as journaling, and there's lots and lots of different things to help with mental health. One of the things that we've done is that we created our Millie AI agent. And I'll put the link here if you guys want to check it out. But
Yeah.
it helps you to walk through and identify what are the limiting beliefs that you're carrying right now, because that's going to stop your growth in business like no other,
Mhm,
right?
mhm.
You actually shared
Absolutely.
that in your story. And then what are the ways that that's coming up, and then changing them to empowering beliefs and moving forward and really embodying those beliefs. And so I encourage you guys to check out millionairemomentumlife.com/millie-ai, to see it. But this is kind of where the conversation goes into how do you balance the two, right? Like that human empathy and that human touch with the AI precision to make sure we don't lose the human touch. So what are your thoughts on that? Because I know you've done a lot around AI, and I know you have thoughts about AI in general. How do we keep that human touch even as we're using cool AI tools like this?
So to be honest, I am a big fan of AI. Ever since AI came into the market, starting with ChatGPT, I am super relaxed. I call AI the information, the infinite ground for information. It has information on religion, it has information on science, on books about self-help or whatever the fiction, anything and everything. So AI is more like a personal tool that I use on a daily basis to understand things. Now, the thing is that I'm not scared of AI, to be honest, because AI is another revolutionary product that's here to help us. And it has no way in hell taken away my clients from me. In fact, the more we go on calls or whiteboarding sessions with our clients, we tell them how AI is actually helping us in the internal processes, and how can we directly using AI and human resource together, um, add value to the entire sales operations that you have in house.
Mhm.
Yes, there are some people who haven't understood AI. Their belief system again about technology is very different, and they feel like they cannot do it. Those are the guys who we had to unfortunately let go. I did feel bad, but then again I couldn't do anything about it, because if they were not in the right mindset when it comes to AI or technology, or they were not open to learn and adapt newer practices, then I had no other choice but to let them go.
Yeah.
But in general, AI has helped us grow our revenue by, I would say, 5% this year
Wow.
alone. And we just started implementing AI this year. We have equipped every human resource, especially the sales and marketing departments that we have, with AI tools, and we now have a dedicated team of three Gen Zs. These guys, he's a very funny, he's a very different kind of a guy. He's becoming a doctor, um, academically, but The boy that I'm talking about has gone to MIT on a scholarship program because he won a competition on AI, but he's becoming a doctor. So he's my chief thinking officer. He's 19 years old. He his job is to just come in for 2 days at work and think, how can we implement AI?
That's so cool. A chief thinking officer. I've never heard that before.
Yeah, it's funny, right? Because we need someone who, from this generation, from the Gen Z, I would say, because they know a lot more about AI or technology than I do at this point. They're 24/7 involved with it. So the guy comes up with so many ideas. We have implemented AI in our operational capacity. He just created AI, personal AI bots for each human resource that we have to manage the calendar, to initiate the outreach programs, to create customized reports, to send the reports to the clients directly and to me, and all is done even if those guys are not in the office.
Wow.
So that's the
Amazing.
best part about AI. It's just that how we sort of look towards it.
Yeah.
Instead
Yeah.
of blaming, I think I would say I've integrated AI as a part of my life now.
Yeah. And that's how it is going forward. I mean, if anyone thinks any different, you're living under a rock. Like,
Yeah,
this is how our world is evolving, and it's really neat. I love the fact that you said that you actually have like an AI agent to assist every single team member. Think about how much more productive you are and your team is, and how many more people you can serve because of that production and that efficiency and effectiveness. And honestly, when you think about your employees, man, and even ourselves, when we get bogged down in the administrative work, like you were talking about with the follow up calls and things like that, or documentation around that, that depletes our energy. And so
absolutely.
I bet your team has so much more energy that they can give to your clients and the building of the vision that you have for your business, right?
Yep, absolutely. The only thing that I'm heavily investing on right now besides AI is mindset programming for our team. We've hired Patrice, she's an amazing coach. We have hired Anna, she's again another amazing coach. We're planning to hire another mindset coach from the US that's going to help us as a team collectively understand how can we work on our mindset to make the most out of AI
Yeah.
and grow the company collectively.
Yeah, and it's cool that you're using a human to do it, right? You haven't replaced coaches or, the need for that human connection, but you have found a really great way to support your team through AI, and your processes too. I mean, just from what we've talked about, like I think you said 75% of the lead generation is really done through AI. Is that right?
75% of data generation, I said, yes, is done by AI. For the
Yeah.
lead generation, where we initiate the outreach process, 100% is done by the AI now. The only area where we're still struggling is where we cannot rely on AI to call each number out to verify the information. That's one
Mhm.
of the areas where people still want to connect with a human.
Yeah. Yeah. And we might look into that with you too, because we've got some really good ideas around that.
Okay.
I feel like anything is possible with AI. It just kind of takes some tweaking. So yeah, well, we might change your mind on that one.
I would be open to ideas.
I love it. That's awesome. Well, so tell me, what's next for CloudLead? Are there new frontiers that you're exploring with AI driven research or data ethics or anything like that? Or just what are you excited about in the next 6 months to a year?
In the next 6 months to 2 year, we're excited. In the next 6 months, I would say we're excited about the short-term AI implementation strategies for each human resource or researcher that we have at CloudLead. In the next 12 months, I'm closely keeping an eye on tools that can help us with automating the calls that we make, in terms of, maybe let's say, instead of 100 people, if we can cut down the team size by the best of the best 40 human resource who call out the prospects, and the rest is replaceable by AI. That's going to be a win-win situation for us, because let's say if one person calls out 300 numbers, we can have AI call out 500 phone numbers each day to validate the information. And if we are serving 20 or let's say 30 customers, we can then serve 50 or 100 customers for a lesser price without compromising on the quality. And the human resource that we retain, which is going to be the top tier talent, will just focus on, you know, making sure that the quality is 100%, right? So that's where in the next 12 months I plan to invest heavily and implement the AI strategies. So right now, whatever tool that comes out in the market that says we can help you make out the, or make the most out of calling agents, we invest in that. We do a trial and error with them, and if it works out, fair enough. We work with them for the next 3 months and figure out if it's working out. We tried a couple of AI bots for taking up the phone verification department in the past, and it did not work out. But I'm very optimistic that in the next 12 to 24 months, there will be some tool, someone will create a tool that's going to be absolutely fabulous when it comes to validating the information by phone.
Yeah, absolutely. And I really love how your business has struck that balance between service through humans, right?
Yeah.
And also the tool and the service through AI agents and what you've built with your company. That's I think one of the things that stood out to me the most as I was researching your company is that it's not just a tool that you're giving them access to. You are providing a service. And I think that that's so important to remember because as AI gets more and more
Mhm.
out there and part of our daily lives and our
Yeah.
business, human connection becomes a premium.
Yes, that's what the idea is. That's exactly what the idea is. Because people, as a human, I crave for the human connection. I love the fact that I'm connecting with you and doing this podcast, right?
Me
So
too.
I want to make the most out of the human connection. I want to connect with people in a way that leaves an impact on them.
Yeah. Yeah. And I would say your story absolutely has. So thank you so much for sharing it. And finally, how can people connect with you if they want to learn more about what you're doing with CloudLead and just, maybe learn more about your story?
They can connect me via LinkedIn, my email address, which is noman@cloudlead.co, or Facebook. I'm open to all these social media channels. I love connecting with people. So anyone can reach out to me and ask me a question about my personal life or professional life. I'm happy to answer that.
I love it. I love your vulnerability, especially in the space that you're in. I don't think many people kind of think of people in that way of humans. I mean, sometimes we treat each other as robots already, and
And
so it's great.
that's exactly what I was doing in the past, to be honest, because there was a lot of pressure when it comes to sales. As a founder, when I started off, my main job was to focus on all areas of company, but business development, sales was the biggest pressure on me. And cold calling, rejection, um, I was more reactive towards a no. I was not responsive. That was the difference. And it took me 8 years to understand how to respond versus reaction.
Yeah.
So I think, yeah, I mean, as a founder, I do understand the pain points, and being a salesperson myself, I think I do understand the importance of data and technology that's going to help empower the SDRs in focusing more on closing the sales versus chasing bad data.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. So, as we end, what advice would you give founders who are still balancing this concept of how much should I have AI take over in my business and how do I not lose that human touch?
So the simple answer to that is, eventually AI is going to rule out, I would say, every company by 85 to 90% or even 100%. It's just that the moment when I realized, when ChatGPT came in as the first OpenAI tool, and eventually now we have multiple tools out there, AI agents, I had to actually find out people. I actually had to go out there and make an announcement in the company that these are the tools that we have already paid for these tools, you just have to learn, come back to us, the team, senior management, and tell us what you learned. And you
Mm,
will be surprised that there were so many things that I did not know, and my team came to me and told me that these are the best features.
mhm.
And the ones who did not adapt had to be laid off, unfortunately. So my advice to different founders would be, we don't need to be scared of AI. AI is not, and also to other humans. I mean, AI is not here to take our jobs. It's here to make our life easier.
Yeah,
It's another tool that's going to help us be more productive. It's just that how we think, see, and believe in things is changing. We just need to adapt. That's a shift that's coming in.
agreed. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it allows us to be more human in the human jobs and roles that we have. So I
Yeah.
love your perspective. I love your heart and, like I said, your vulnerability and just being who you are. I really have appreciated this conversation, Noman.
Thank you very much, Elise.
Absolutely. Awesome. Well, if you guys are curious to learn more about what AI agents and AI systems can do for you, you can, of course, always go to m2aiagency.com
Yeah.
and apply for a free AI growth session. So,
Okay.
to our listeners and viewers, thanks so much for tuning in to the Mastering AI Momentum Show. Until next time, keep leading with vision and building your momentum. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
You've been listening to Mastering AI Momentum. If today's episode gave you clarity or sparked a breakthrough, share it, review it, leave us a comment, and show Ali and Elise how you're turning AI into ROI. And make sure you subscribe, because the next episode could be the strategy that unlocks your next level. Until then, build smart, scale fast, and let AI multiply your momentum.